Fellow citizens, a very good afternoon to all of you. Last Sunday, 11th of October 2020, I announced our second positive case of COVID-19 in Solomon Islands. Today, I again stand here to inform the nation that we now have our third confirmed case of COVID-19. He was diagnosed overnight during the routine third test under our testing protocol for all returning nationals. The person is a student that came on the repatriation flight from Philippines. Contact tracing has commenced to establish the possible source of infection. The student has been transferred to the National Referral Hospital Isolation Unit for further observations and management. Like our first two positive cases, this person does not show any signs of illness. Fellow citizens, as alluded to in today's papers, this positive case did not come as a surprise because there had been mingling and congregating between the students at the quarantine facility. We are therefore relieved that we only record one additional positive case because there could have been more. So we thank our Heavenly Father. He is still looking after our nation and our students. The results of the upcoming fourth round of testing under our protocol, which will take place between days 19 and 21 after arrival in the country, which will be between Sunday 18th and Tuesday 20th October, will give us a better indication on status and the likely projection of the COVID-19 infection in the country. Fellow citizens, one major constraint faced by our oversight committee and the camp management had been the lack of adequate facilities to ensure its students has individual rooms. However, we have now managed to secure some additional facilities. Our health surveillance team is conducting in-depth risk assessment on the students today. Those students whose risk or exposure are considered low risk will be moved to the additional facilities to complete their quarantine there. Chang's quarantine station will however remain the main quarantine station for many of the students. Fellow citizens, the announcement of this third COVID positive case of COVID-19 does not change our assessment that the risk of community transmission is still low. Our focus continues to be on containment of the virus within the Chang's quarantine station and eliminate it from there. If we need to shift some students to other locations, it will be done such that there will be no risk of community transmission during the process, and that the new locations will also be under very tight security and management control. Fellow citizens, I am also able to inform the nation that we had a further 4 positive cases in the Philippines over the past few days. One of the students was pregnant and she has delivered a baby. Both mother and infant are in hospital and will be transferred to the Philippine Red Cross facility to complete their quarantine. The other 3 positive cases are already in Red Cross accommodation to complete their quarantine. Let me again reassure the public that the COVID-19 outbreak is contained within the Chang's quarantine station. I have been reassured that our students in Chang's quarantine station are now taking their responsibilities seriously, and I thank the students for this. Fellow citizens, it is important for the students and the public to know that if we contain and eliminate COVID-19 from the Chang's quarantine station, we will assume our COVID-free status again. So, to all our students, our frontline workers, and all of us, we have a collective responsibility to work together to ensure the COVID-19 virus does not go beyond the walls of the quarantine station. Fellow citizens, let me close by once again thanking all our frontline officials and members of their families that are sacrificing for our country and our people during this challenging time. I have confidence in our professionals. They have risen to safeguard our people and our country. To members of the public, thank you all for your ongoing support to our students and their families and to our frontline workers and all our COVID-19 preparedness and response teams and their families. To our students in the Philippines and in Nationa, we are in this battle together. Let us cooperate to eliminate this disease from our country. Let us cooperate to ensure we do not further import the disease into the country. To our students in the Philippines who have not yet shifted to the government-arranged hotel from yesterday, you have the next 2 days to all shift to the hotel. If you do not shift to the hotel, we will assume you are not interested to be considered under the government-arranged repatriation program and that you will look after your own repatriation costs. I implore the parents or guardians of the students who are still living outside of the government-arranged hotels in Manila to ask their children to move to the hotels within the next 48 hours. Failure to do this will mean that any student who had not shifted to the government-arranged accommodation will be responsible for their own repatriation. Government will only be responsible for those that are in the government-arranged accommodation. Fellow citizens, in closing, I'm happy to announce that my Minister of Health and Medical Services, the Honorable Dr. Calvic Togamana, will make future announcements on positive cases of COVID-19 unless the situation warrants my direct involvement. Let me close with a quote from the book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verses 5 and 6 as follows. Verse 5, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto thine own understanding. Verse 6, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Fellow Solomon Islanders, in God we trust. Let us come together to support our students. We are one people. We are one nation. We are Solomon Islands. To God be the glory. Great things he has done. Unite together against COVID-19. May God bless Solomon Islands from shore to shore.